Whoa, what happened there? Hey, everybody! Welcome to the Most Metal Monday Night Live with Robb Zipp. I am your host, Robb Zipp. I got the funds right behind me, over my shoulder, looking over, making sure I don't screw up this interview. It's the first live interview that this guy's done. Let's welcome in David from Pillaging Villagers. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's up, man?
Welcome to the show. Let's put in the ticker down here. Coming all the way from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You're a one-man band, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That's right. That's right.
So really, you're just a pillaging villager.
Yeah. It's just a singular.
Singular. And we can't see your shirt now, but you're wearing a midnight shirt. So definitely another killer one-man band, though. They do have a full touring band. Same with Hell Ripper. I had Hell Ripper on my show maybe about a year
No
ago.
way. I love Hell River.
Yeah. James was super cool and killer band. Would that be an awesome lineup if it was Hell Ripper, Midnight, and Pillaging Villagers?
That'd be sick. I would. I'd put a full band together for that show for sure.
Yeah, there you go. So as it is now, I mean, you're an independent artist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you put out your album, and it's killer. I mean, it's
Thank you.
there's it kind of reminds me, don't take this the wrong way, but there's some Necrogoblicon elements to it.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that.
Have you heard that?
Yeah,
Have you heard that?
I have actually. It's not the first time. It's funny how people interpret the sound. Like, and when you put music out there, I've kind of had like a different feel. Like I have a certain feel of how I think it sounds, but then you get different reactions. Like I got reviewed on Angry Metal Guy, and the reviewer said it was like Necropanther mixed with Dropkick Murphys, and I never thought like about Necropanther. Like I love that band, but I never thought about them when I was writing the album. I never thought about Necrogoblin at all. But I get it. It's like it's kind of there's a lot of like melodic death in it. So I totally hear that.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
sometimes you just sometimes people come up with the great ideas at the same time, independent from one another, and sometimes it's somewhere in the back of your mind. When you're creating stuff, you don't really realize that that's what you're doing until it happens.
Oh yeah.
So what made you decide? You know what? I'm gonna put this record out. You haven't found the other band members, or I don't know if you've wanted to. I don't know much about you. That's why I've got you on the show. So
yeah. I'll just kind of run it back a little bit. So Pillaging Villagers is an idea I came up with when I was first getting into writing music back when I was a teenager. I was kind of, I was into like punk at the time. I was like 15, 16. I was like, I really want to start a band. So I'd been listening to a lot of punk, and then I started getting into like a lot of like gateway heavy metal, like Ozfest type metal, like Hatebreed, and also some like power metal, like Manowar, stuff like that, and Blind Guardian. And I was just these influences really just like catalyzed my interest in writing. And the first band I started was called Pillaging Villagers back when I was a kid. Age 15, I wrote some really mediocre, run-of-the-mill punk / metal tunes that are about peasant rebellion. And then just kind of like moved on to other stuff. And I've been in a few bands since then. But really this idea of like combining Celtic folk music with, more aggressive thrash style has kind of been just something I've thought about for almost my entire life. And, like I said, just kind of like adding new influences. It was something I was like, oh, I'll get to it eventually. Finally, the pandemic hit in 2020, and I was like, well, what am I waiting for? I've got a ton of time. My job is slowing down. I'll just write it. And I hadn't played music at all for like 10 years. The last band I was in, 2012. We put out an album. So it was like 10 years since I even picked up a guitar. So it was a process of getting back into that. I wrote everything in Guitar Pro. I'm a kind of a computer guy more than a music guy at present. So that was really a great tool for me to kind of like get back into writing. And it just kind of grew from there. Like I wrote a few riffs. I was like, that's kind of fun. That kind of feels like what Pillaging Villagers has felt to me. And I just kind of like, as I kept growing on the idea, I was like, well, why not make it a full album? You know, I had this whole idea for this concept album where, you know, explores, and I'm sure we'll get into that, explores, you know, this world that I've created within the album, you know, of peasant rebellion and of, you know, sort of medieval sword and sorcery mixed with social commentary. So I wanted to kind of like explore that, and then it really just kind of mushroomed from there. Like I wrote a few songs. By the time, before I knew it, the album was done, and I was like, well, what am I going to do with it now? You know, am I going to try to record it? I reached out to some folks that I knew back when I was playing in bands like a decade ago. You know, they're still playing music and still doing stuff. So I was like, hey, let's see if I can make this happen. You know, I recruited musicians that I sort of knew tangentially. The guitarist who played on the album, he's in a band called Lords of the Trident, and I used to play with him back when he was in another band called Luna Mortis, you know, in the Madison scene here in Wisconsin. And the engineer, the guy who recorded the album, he played bass on the record, and he hooked up the drummer. So it was really like a remote thing that just kind of grew organically from, you know, just let's just try this and see how it goes.
Okay, so it wasn't you doing all the instruments. You had some other people.
Yeah,
but you wrote but you wrote it all though, right?
Yep, I wrote all the music, and then I essentially just hired session guys to come in and do the guitars, bass, and drums. Then I did all the vocals.
Okay, cool. I know like Helper, he uses a drum machine, but he does have a live drummer. But on his album, it's drum machine. And I was like, wow, I didn't even. It's gotten so good you couldn't tell. You know?
Yeah, the drum machines have gotten really good, but I really wanted I wanted everything to feel really organic. Like, you know, I wanted there to be like subtle, you know, not mess ups, but I wanted it to feel a little bit raw. Like, there was definitely a way to make it sound like super, super clean. But again, I felt like that rawness was a little more suited to the style that I was going for.
I got you, man. I got you. So what do you what do you want to do with this album? I mean, is it just kind of like, you know, I just want to put this out just to have this out because there was the pandemic and you just had this creative outlet that you needed to get out there? Or do you want to, you know, get that full band and go on a tour?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, really, it was just kind of a personal thing for me. Like the experience of writing it and putting it together, it's kind of like, there's so many Easter eggs in it, and it's like little references that only I get. It's you know, when people say they create like a personal album, I think that's what they're going for. Like, it just feels like something it's just everything about it. Like, you know, the medieval focus. Like, I'm a big medieval history fan. You know, I've been interested in peasant rebellion for a long time, and medieval history is a big part of my life. It's got references to that. It's got all the different musical styles that I kind of merged together. It's got, you know, this sort of like, it's really just me. Like I said, when I put it together, I didn't really have a goal. I wanted to basically share it with some friends, maybe get reviewed by some sites. I read Angry Metal Guy every day. I think I already talked about them. And I was like, hey, maybe I'll get reviewed by them. And then I started like sending it out to like review sites, you know, just like myself, like, hey, I put this album together. You want to review it? And I like barely heard back from anyone. And then I got some advice like, hey, you should hook up with Promoter. And I connected with Scott at Clawhammer Productions, or Clawhammer PR, if you've heard of them.
Yep. Oh yeah, I think. Did they follow me? I think
they probably do.
They you know, I deleted my Twitter, and then I came back.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm back with you know, I'm back connected with Clawhammer. You know.
Yeah. And so basically everything just took off from there. Like I said, I didn't really have any expectations, and really just kind of made it for myself and just hoping maybe people would hear it. And then from there, it just had this success. Like, I mean, for a guy that's never played a show, I had zero context in the music industry. I didn't know one thing about how to promote a metal album. You know, it's been insane. Like, I've had people from all over the world listen to it. I've got, you know, I can look at my Spotify analytics, like, you know, people in Finland and Slovenia and Russia and Japan, like, people are listening to it all over the world, and getting like really, really positive reviews. Like, I just didn't expect it. I hoped it would happen, but ultimately it was like, I don't really care if anyone listened, you know, if anyone reviewed it positively. I just wanted people to like listen to it. and that's really what's happened. As far as touring, like I think it kind of like first of all, I don't really see it happening. That's kind of the gist of it. Like I did a lot of like playing in bands. I did touring. I did shows and stuff when I was in my early 20s. And it's just like it's not really for me. I think most people like really people that are in bands like to tour and like the rigors of the road. I like punching the clock and getting money that way and logging back out. Not only that is just I'm a little too old for that sort of thing. But so not only that, but the Pillaging Villagers is kind of designed to be kind of an immersive experience. Like the album cover, the name of the band, the song titles, the concept album itself, it's all wrapped up to kind of like bring the listener into this immersive world. And when you listen to it, my intent is that people will kind of like, sit back and like be immersed in it, like, feel themselves in that world. And I feel like that might be kind of disrupted by just like some guys in t-shirts at a bar, like playing through the songs. Like it doesn't feel like the live metal experience is like, it's going to help drive that immersive experience. If I were to do anything, any kind of performance, I'd want it to be like theatrical or have some sort of like costuming or marionettes, like something like that. But then that would be lame. So I'm not,
I mean, it could be if it's not done right. I mean, look at Gore. But Gore, they're a whole joke. I mean, you're not a joke. Your lyrical content. You're not joking around.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah. I think of it as like, when I think about how people enjoy this, like I want people to. It's much more like a record experience than like a live performance experience. Like it would be awesome to play Pillaging Villagers live. Like that, I would love to. Like if I were a fan, I would like to see. I mean, who wouldn't want to like sing along to Smash the Factory, in a venue or something like that? So that would be really fun, and that kind of like that's in my mind. Like, oh man, that would be a blast. But ultimately, I feel like it's more of like a sit in your living room with a beer and spend 40 minutes listening to the album and just kind of like looking at the album cover and just kind of like being immersed. That's more the experience I was looking for, so to speak. But it'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, you could do like your YouTube right now is just your video. It's just your songs with your album. You don't have anything. You haven't made any like videos for any of your songs. But if you wanted to, I mean, YouTube would be a great outlet for you to make a video for a song or a concept video.
Yeah, I mean, and I've talked about like I've done a couple interviews, where people have talked about like, hey, here's some ideas of how we can support it. I like all the ideas. As far as like,
but it's your project, so you do what the hell you want to with it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think like it would be fun to do that sort of thing. I'm kind of like I really enjoyed making Pillaging Villagers, and I love listening to it. But like I'm also like I'm kind of like moving on to the next thing. Like at this like musically, creatively to me,
sure.
Like and that's not to say I don't want to talk about it because I love talking about it. But like as far as like the next creative horizon for me, I think it's like a different direction. Like I think the for me, Pillaging Villagers was like a really like almost like cathartic experience, or like sort of like dream fulfillment. Like it was kind of like a childhood dream to like put this record together and actually see it realized. So like once it's done, like I think I've heard people ask me like, when's the next record coming out? Like, what are you going to do next? Like, I don't know if I'm going to do Pillaging Villagers again. Like maybe, but I think it's like, I want it to be like almost like a standalone thing. Like it really is like, that it's just, that immersive aspect of it is, intentional. So I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, but you're getting traction under that name. That's your Twitter. That's your Twitter handle. I don't know if you have other Twitter handles, but
no, I don't. Yeah.
I mean, that's your. So if you did something else, I mean, could there be another theme like of a different kind of Pillaging Villager?
Maybe. Yeah, the whole Twitter thing is funny. Like, when I first started, again, this is my ignorance as a someone outside of the metal game, outside of the music promotion game. Like my promotion company just said, hey, you should get a Twitter account, because I didn't have one. I was like, they're like, well, why would I ever want one? Like, what do people talk about music on Twitter? So it was like, I just set one up, like, basically, because I have all of the social, like you mentioned, YouTube. I have a YouTube. I have, a Facebook. I have an Instagram. Just because my promotion company was like, get those, so that if someone like, shares your shit on Instagram, you can be like, hey, thank you, or whatever. Like, that's like,
I mean, that's fair. I don't know. Like, I can understand your PR company, saying that. I know Clawhammer followed my Instagram when I had Instagram, but it's like, I deleted Facebook, I deleted Instagram, I deleted Snapchat, I deleted TikTok. What else? Tumblr went away a long time ago. MySpace, but I actually did leave Twitter several times. I've come back, but I was on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn because I still need a job. I need a job.
Yeah,
and
I don't have a LinkedIn for Pillaging Villagers. I probably should. I have a personal LinkedIn, but it doesn't reference.
There you go.
Right. But yeah, so like I set up the Twitter account. I was like, okay, I'll just thank people once they tweet at me or whatever. But it's actually been awesome. Like, my engagement in Twitter has been totally unexpected and has been a lot of like really like enriching for my life. Like, I love the community of people on Twitter. I like every day I just pick it up and I get to have conversations with people. That's part of the fun of it for me, is like meeting new people like yourself. I think we met on Twitter. Like, it's like the fact that I have a Pillaging Villagers handle, and it's grown enough where I have a community of people that know me as Pillaging Villagers, is like, that was like unexpected. Like, if I were to do it from the beginning, I would have just had my name and like, hey, I'm the vocalist for Pillaging Villagers. But I'll probably still keep it as a way, just because I like talking to people, and the community has been really surprisingly cool on Twitter.
Well, that's cool, because it can be a cesspool of bullshit too.
Really? And that's what I mean,
it can be. But that's why I just go and I block all these right wing trolls. Like, I have a friend that he spends his whole day on Twitter just tweeting at I know it's okay to talk to you about this. He just goes and he just trolls right wing accounts, and then whenever I see it, I just block whoever he's talking to, because it's always some like all the Trump family, they're all blocked. I even blocked Elon Musk. I blocked Elon Musk. Fuck him too. So I apologize. If any children are watching, I apologize.
I'd love to get blocked by Elon Musk. That would be my goal. Like, yeah, I'll block him, but he doesn't care if I'm blocked. Like, I want him to block me. I don't know if I can hook that up, but yeah, I mean,
I got blocked. I got blocked by Chris Barnes. Have you gotten blocked by Chris Barnes yet?
I haven't trolled Chris Barnes. I feel a little bad.
But see, that's the thing. I didn't even troll him. I didn't do anything. I did nothing to Chris Barnes, and he fucking blocked me anyway.
The blanket fan of all metal media. I feel a little bad for the guy. I mean, it's a little bit, but I think a lot of people are banned by him. I wasn't one of them, but I also haven't tried to follow him.
But like the dude's insane. Like, we all have respect for what he did with Cannibal Corpse and early 6 Feet Under, and I think the fact that his new album was so bad, and he doesn't see that it was bad, and basically anyone who doesn't love it is his enemy,
It's
and it's like, bro, come on.
Yeah, I find that so fascinating how, and this goes back to what we were talking about before. Like, I think there's a temptation for people who get a taste of fame to continually seek that fame, like to not give up on the thing that made them famous. And then as they get older, they lose touch with what led them there, and then they just become like this weird fossil of a time when people cared about. It's like people just can't let go, and that's part of like what with Pillaging Villagers. I'm like, okay, like I don't want this to become like my thing, like where I'm like not growing creatively. I'm not like expanding my, like, again, let me just say, I love Pillaging Villagers. I will talk about Pillaging Villagers all day. I think it's an amazing album. I love creating it, and I'm super proud of it. But like, in contrast to Chris Barnes, where he's just like, I'm gonna do the same shit that I was doing in 1996, in 2022 and then get mad when people don't like it or don't fit my vision. It's just
Well,
like
that's the thing. If it was the same shit he was doing in 1996, I think a lot of people would love it, but it's not. he
yeah,
he's blown out his voice, you know.
Yeah, from his performance perspective, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, you know, when you see people, you know, try to grow. Like, there's been some interesting albums that came out this year. Like, the guy from Trivium put out a non-Trivium album, and like I went into it with like really open eyes. Like, you know, I really wanted to like embrace it creatively, but it just. Did you listen to it, by the way?
I don't like Trivium, and
yeah, I don't either.
I don't like
him either. But he
stuff.
put an album with Isan and Nergal from Behemoth or from Emperor and Behemoth respectively. And I was like, okay, I'll check this out and see if it's good. And it's just like it back to the idea of like being in a creative box. Like, it just felt like Trivium with black metal like grafted onto it. And I'm just like, man, you've been playing guitar for 30 years. You've been playing in bands. You've been around music. Like, why wouldn't you want to like expand your horizons more? Like, there's so many really innovative black metal bands out there that are doing stuff that isn't second wave black metal, that isn't just rehashing Emperor or whatever. But that's like all you can think to do. It felt like a desperate like play for cred. And that's, you know, I just felt it was a little bit sad. Like, you know, you'd think you'd be able to explore your. You think you'd have more horizons creatively after being the same band forever. So it's just weird. Same thing with Chris.
Yeah, I've given Trivium and Matthew Heffy. He's a great guitar player. They're all good, but I just don't like them. It's not my thing. And you're right. Like, if he's just playing, you know, I've seen him wear his like sleeveless. I mean, you've got your sleeveless Midnight shirt. He wears a sleeveless Emperor shirt all the time, and it's like. Yeah. If he tries to make an Emperor album, it's still going to sound like a Trivium album.
Yeah. And it was like, and he did all the vocals, so it was like,
yeah,
it
doesn't make sense. You know, whatever. You know, he can do whatever he wants. It's one of those things. You know, they're gonna the label. You know, Metal Blade's gonna let him do whatever he wants. Just like he's gonna, you know, they let Chris Barnes do whatever he wants. It's some of their guys on their roster. They just let them do whatever they want. You know, and they don't say no. They don't say no. And, you know, sometimes a record label should say no. If it's going to make the label look bad, make the band look bad. It's, you know, and that's the thing about being an independent artist like yourself, is no one can tell you no. And, you know, you're doing what you want to do. So, you know, if you do another Pillaging Villagers album, that'd be sweet. If you do something completely different, I'll be there for it too, man. I'll be listening to it. I don't have Spotify. I killed my Spotify account, but I have Apple Music. You know, honestly, if you have an iPhone, you know, Apple Music is better anyway for an iPhone.
Okay. Yeah, I've never actually used it. But yeah, I mean, being an independent artist like has its, like, I think both, like, I guess when I was starting off on this, I was like, oh, like, it's not even possible to find a record label. Like, I still had this very like antiquated notion of like what a record label is. And in 2022, like, record labels like aren't, like, it's not like, you know, like you think of it where they're gonna like print out like a million vinyl records and put it in every record store. Like, most of the record labels that, you know, bands are signed to are like, you know, they only do a little bit more than like what Clawhammer would do for me. So like, from my perspective, like, I've had some, you know, label interest. I've had people come to me and say, hey, sign with us. But it was like for what purpose? Like, are you going to do anything beyond what I've already done? Oh, well, maybe if you pay us this, like, I have to pay you.
That's what I've been hearing a lot of that going on, where labels are, you know, trying to ask for money. I mean, I understand, you know, they'll sign these bands, and they've done this, you know, in their whole history. They sign these bands, and there's like a fight between the labels to get the band, so they give the band all this money, and the band will spend that money to produce their album, make a couple of videos, put it up their nose, whatever, you know, and the label wants to see a return on that investment. You know, they don't give you $1 million just for fun. They will give you $1 million and they want to see more than that back.
Yeah.
So, um,
Yeah.
so now,
It's crazy.
if they're asking bands to pay them, it's kind of
Right.
nonsense. It's kind of
It's
nonsense. I
not.
don't
Yeah.
know. I listen. No one's ever. I've never been signed to any label or been a I mean, I'm not in a band. I haven't been in a band in over 20
Mhm.
years. So
Yeah.
like the I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of that anymore.
Yeah.
But
Me
it's just insane.
neither.
It's just insane. Do you have any physical media, records or CDs or
No.
tapes?
Nope. It's
Okay.
all digital. I thought about doing it. Like, if you've listened to the album, like the album was written to be conducive to vinyl. So like the first 7 tracks, the first 6 tracks, the
Well,
tracks 1 and 2.
let's show your
Yeah, go ahead.
Bandcamp so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we can see that and so people can see what you're talking about at the
Oh,
same
sure,
time.
yeah, of course.
So there we go.
Ah,
Here's your Bandcamp
yeah, awesome.
information.
Awesome. So yeah, so like the first 2 tracks are Act 1 of the story. So the story, the album's a concept album, and it's a linear concept. So it tells a story that starts at the beginning and ends at the end. Obviously, first 2 tracks are Act 1. The next 4 are Act 2. So Act 2 ends with the crisis, which is really the sort of like it's set up musically to be totally distinct from the rest of the album. It's more than 3 times longer than most of the tracks. It doesn't feature any of the gang vocals or melodic choruses or folk instrumentation. It doesn't feature any thrash beats. It ends in a fade. Like every aspect of it musically is distinct, and it's designed that way so that when the crisis ends, that's when you flip the record over, and that's Act 3 starts with track 7, where the villagers in the story take revenge on their exploiters and
Gotcha.
burn the monastery, smash the factory, crush the enemy. It's intended to be that cathartic release, that cathartic Act 3, that Rebel Alliance destroys the Death Star, Act 3.
Sure.
um,
Sure.
so like that, it was designed with that in mind. But then when I started putting together, it's so goddamn expensive, and
Yeah.
without distribution, without like a record label behind me to like promote it, like who fuck's gonna buy it? And I've had so much success like, selling it on Bandcamp. Like more people bought it on Bandcamp than I would have ever imagined would have. Like I don't even really buy albums on Bandcamp. Like unless it's an album I cannot get on Spotify, then I'll buy it on Bandcamp. It's like really, really rare nowadays.
Right.
So like
Oh,
at that point,
wait, hold on a second. I just realized I wasn't follow. And yes, I would like to be on your email list. Thank you.
oh,
Sorry
awesome.
about that. Sorry about that,
Oh,
dude.
fine.
That
You're fine. Yeah, I mean so with the the cost of doing physical media, the difficulty of distributing it, and then the shortages and the delays. I mean, with vinyl, I hear it's like 6 to 8 months just to get a pressing done, and like with all the other stuff that was going on at the time, like I finished the album in November of 2021 and it released in March, so like I didn't really have time to like get any of that stuff organized. I mean, I'm sure if I had a record label to help, that would have been, if I was like planning this release as part of schedule, but
sure.
I'd love to someday, like, if there was any interest, in funding that sort of thing, that would be cool to do. Or like being compilations, that would actually be better. I'd love to like have like record labels like put together compilations, or even like, like small, like I've been promoted by Anti-Fascist Black Metal. They're like a group that just like promotes only anti-fascist bands. And they like put out compilations. And there's been a lot of great bands that are on. I love to be on one of those compilations. So like that's kind of the future of like physical media for me. But I also like this is intended to be a really like DIY, like grassroots. Even the messages politically, in the album are more towards independence and digital distribution. So I actually kind of like that it's digital only. It's more democratized that way. That way people in Australia can listen to the album just as easily as people here in Milwaukee.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
I want to read some of these. We'll go back to this. I want to read some of these reviews, man.
Oh yeah.
Well, hold on. I have a Mac. Sometimes it does crazy stuff, but this shit kicks ass. Real beer chugging, face spitting resistance metal.
Yeah.
That was from SOC. Nate Collins says, Dropkick Murphys, In Flames, Blind Guardian, and Devin Townsend walk into a bar. Superb production and clever songwriting decisions aside, this album is just straight up fun. Favorite track is The Emperor. Zerthis. I'm gonna read these because this is awesome.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of them. But I'll talk much more. Yeah, go ahead.
Zerthis, bright hot sun, ice cold beer, and pillaging villagers. Lots of fun indeed. I'm gonna go down to Anti-Fascist Black Metal Network you mentioned. Self-produced by one person, but indeed sounding like a whole damn army. Comes like a storm with thrashy guitars that rip with precision, loud drums and ferocious vocals that break into sing-along folk metal refrains and weave a long narrative of medieval rebellion through a modern lens that makes completely clear the political connection between theme and reality, or past and today. And there's a link to their full review. I mean, that's fucking killer, man.
Yeah, they've been awesome. I'm really happy to be supported by them and to have that promotion. I'm on their YouTube channel. That's been huge to like get that recognition from people that are oriented towards music from a political standpoint, because I've written political music in the past. Like I've one of my old bands was called Erebus, and we did political stuff, but it's tough to do political commentary and be literal, like to talk about it from a contemporary lens. It turns a lot of people off. It's hard to when I'm able to explore it through fantasy, through the lens of medieval rebellion, it's a lot more powerful. Like I can really connect with people a lot more emotionally by creating a story. And I've found that is a better, at least for me, a better, more effective way to talk about politics, or to connect with people from a ideological standpoint, than just singing a song about fuck the government or fuck Trump or whatever. Like, and obviously fuck Trump and fuck all the fascists in the government. But like when people say, when you say that in a song, it's like people are like, okay, all right, it's not as clever. It's not as it doesn't connect with people. And I feel like stories are the best way to do that. And that's partly what this album's about, for sure.
I remember I got real into Dawn Raid for a while. Did you know that those guys? Yeah, they were like a anti-fascist black metal band with a violin, and I think it was just like two guys.
Cool.
They're from England. It's really kind of bizarre in a way with hearing that violin, but the message.
What's it called? Dawn Raid.
Yeah, but they spell it weird. It's like,
okay.
Let me see if I can. It's like RAY apostrophe. Let me see if I can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never heard of it.
But I'm not sure if. Yeah, there we go. Here, I'll put this. I'll copy it. Put it in the
awesome
in the chat here.
But go back to the comments that you were saying. Like so not only did I want this album to be like, the political message is not very. It's not shrouded in much mystery. Like you can't listen to the album and not know what I'm trying to say politically. But also,
Smash the Factory. I mean, that's
it's not possible for you to I think that's why I don't get hit up by any right-wing trolls on Twitter, because it's like you listen to the first song and kind of know that it's a lefty band. But the other thing from the comments is every one of those comments, and I'm so over the moon getting comments like that. It's just totally unexpected, totally gratifying to have just strangers say that shit. But one of the things you see when you read those comments is everyone's like, this is fun. This is a fun ass record. This is fun. They keep saying fun. And that's what I wanted. Metal should be fun. My favorite records are fun I enjoy listening to a really dour, black metal or really like intense death metal. Like every once in a while I get in that stuff for sure. But my favorite albums are like really fun that I can like pump my fist to, and that the choruses get stuck in my head, and it's just like when did metal stop being so fun? That's
right.
part
Like
of what
I'm wearing an Exodus shirt. I mean,
yeah,
they're one of the most fun bands I've ever seen. Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like and I love a lot of, I'm not going to talk shit about like any band because I love bands that are, dissonant and dour and depressing. Like I love that stuff too. But really my favorite bands, like an album that came out this year, I don't know if you've heard, it's from a band called Livewire. They're just like super fast speed metal with like, really like operatic vocals. Like they're just like straight, like you hear the first track and you're like, damn, I want to listen to this whole thing. And what you want to do is flip it back over and play it again. Like that's what I wanted to create with this, like an album that people want to play, and then once it's over, put it back on again because it's just a blast to listen to. I'm really just thrilled to see that people connected with it musically as well as thematically or ideology. I think one of the reason I keep trying to think about why people are connecting with it, like what is the reason, and I obviously I read my reviews that I get and stuff like that, but I think part of it has to do with how cohesive the theming is. A lot of times I'll listen to a band and I'll be like, okay, what's the gist? Like, okay, I'm listening to this band, it's called whatever the band name is. Like, what is their story? Like, what are they trying to be? What is the identity? And I feel like a lot of times it's hard for people to make that connection with a band that beyond their music. Like, you have to like their music, but you also have to like the theme. You have to like the identity. And I think that Pillaging Villagers doesn't like spare any, like, the project is itself, like from like the second you play the first track, like you've got what it is. You look at the album cover, you understand what it's supposed to be. You listen, you hear the band name even, what the album is. I think the identity, at least in my view, I can't speak for everyone, but I'm like, that's one thing that Pillaging Villagers does that not a lot of other bands do. A lot of bands are just like, what are you? We're a metal band. What do you sing about? Death. What we sing about Satan.
Yeah.
We sing about whatever. I think that having that identity is, I mean, at least in my mind, maybe part of why people are connecting with this totally unknown project from Milwaukee.
Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of neo-Nazi bullshit in black metal, and some of it's creeping over into a little bit of death doom even. There's a lot in there. So when you have in your Twitter bio hashtag Antifa, I know you're not one of those fucking tools.
I mean,
and it's hard to parse. Like Behemoth are a great band, but Nurgle is such a fucking tool. I mean, they have this whole like anti-cancel culture thing that they're doing now. I'm like, well, fuck you. It's called accountability.
Right. Decapitated did the same thing. Like it's weird how there's this like.
Did you say Decapitated did the same thing?
Yeah, Decapitated has. I think their new album's called Cancer Culture.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same like anti.
Those guys are from Dallas. I saw them at Full Terror Assault open air in Illinois, which you should get to, dude. It's fucking killer. In September, in the woods, right in southern Illinois on the Kentucky border. It is a fucking badass time.
That's awesome.
But yeah, they bored the fuck out of me, honestly.
And so you're saying Decapitated is from Dallas? I thought they were from Poland.
Who am I thinking of? Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong band.
Okay, Decapitated. So when I think of, I haven't listened to Decapitated in ages. I mean, when I think of like Decapitated, I think of Winds of Creation, like real old school death metal.
Maybe I'm thinking of, you know what? No, it's not Decapitated. Who the fuck am I thinking of? Who the fuck is the band from Dallas I'm thinking of? I feel like I'm hungry. So yeah, Decapitated is from Poland. I didn't see. So you got two bands from Poland that are being tools. Who the fuck am I thinking? Who's from Dallas? I gotta look up Dallas. Who? metal bands. Fucking hell, it's not.
It's one of those things you're gonna think of later and be like, "Oh, it was that."
No, I have their fucking T-shirt because it came in the metal box, the metalhead box.
What's the metalhead box?
So it's a subscription box. It's a subscription mystery box that you can sign up for. It's really cool. I actually had to just cancel it because 10 best North Texas metal bands for 2017, the Dallas Observer. I don't think they're going to be in here.
The Dallas Observer is going to have their finger on the pulse of the metal scene.
Listen, it's no secret the success of bands like Rigor Mortis, Pantera, and Drowning Pool has turned North Texas. No, come on.
That's great. Drowning Pool, man. Everyone loves them.
All these bands they're mentioning, I have not heard of any of these bands. Well, Power Trip and Still Bearing Hand. Okay, I know those bands. Yeah.
Still Bearing Hand's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, Still Bearing Hand is awesome. Yeah, Chris, they actually are, I think, kind of defunct now. Chris is also the guitar player. He's also in Frozen Soul. And he said the Still Bearing Hand drummer moved to Houston.
Okay.
They're not really doing anything right now. God damn. Why can't I think of Dallas death metal band D. Let's put D. Oh, it's fucking killing me. Devourment. Devourment is who I'm thinking of.
Oh, Devourment. Okay, they're like grind slam style, right?
I mean, yeah, they're just listed as death metal. They were broken up for a while because their singer was in prison.
I'm familiar with them. I don't really listen to them though.
Yeah, they're good. Don't get me wrong, but I was kind of bored when I saw them.
What kind of what albums have you listened to this year that you really like?
Oh fuck, I hate when people ask me that.
I'm sorry. I should let you ask the questions. I don't know why I'm asking them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the interviewer. I'm the host, man.
Disregard.
No, it's
a conversation right now. You know, it's hard for me to put on my interview face.
I listen to. I'm a lot of people are into like specific subgenre of metal. I really honestly like all subgenres of metal.
Me too.
So I listen to speaking of Dallas bands. I'm from Houston. We don't typically like Dallas. So let me.
Really? Okay.
So for me to be like talking about all these great Dallas bands, but this band Woe Fat, they have a new band called.
Woe Fat.
It's called The Synergy. Yeah.
Yeah. The Synchronicity. That's just like last week.
The Synchronicity. Yeah. They're on Ripple Music, and I have a good relationship with that label. So nice. I'm trying to get them on this show soon.
That's a fun record.
See if that happens. Yeah, it's really good. It starts off sounding like a Tool album, and then it just switches to what you expect from a Doom album,
Yeah, but they're really you got that stoner thing going. I love it.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole label, Ripple Music, which is funny because the Todd, the owner of the label, is an optometrist. He's an eye doctor. But he told me, I would love to have him on the show, just himself. I might have him on the show actually sometime to hear his story. But
that'd be great.
He's a super cool guy. He's basically sold off his comic book collection to start the record label.
Sick.
Yeah.
I feel like my comic book. I have a comic book collection. I don't see selling. It's one of those things that who would buy it? I don't want to. It's more value to me to just have it sitting there than spend time putting it on eBay or whatever. But
here's what I did. On right when I turned 40, I took all my comics. I'm 44 now, but I took all my comics.
You don't look 44.
Well, it's because I'm fat. I'm fat, and I don't smoke. I don't smoke. I don't like to go out into the sun too much.
Mm-hmm.
So that those are things that age you. Plus, my mom actually looks a lot younger than she is as well, so I get that.
Yeah, I would have put us around the same age, around 35 or something like that.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. Yeah, a lot of people think I'm around that age too, so I'll take it. But yeah, when I turned 40, I took it to this comic book place, and we do a 50-50 split. They sell it all, and you know, so it's a 50-50 split, which might seem kind of harsh, but I'm not having to deal with any of it. Like, she brought her truck
That's
to
not
my
bad.
house, and I loaded up her truck. And one day she asked me if I could come in, like I had all my Masters of the Universe collection, and she wanted me to
Ooh.
yeah, she didn't know what any of the names were, so she had me
Uh,
come in, and she actually paid me like an hourly rate to come in and like label who put all the guys in their bags with their proper weapons,
oh,
so
nice.
they
Nice.
could
That's
list it because
awesome.
they didn't have an idea, and I actually had to look it up. I have the books now, like they have the books that have all the every toy they've ever made, like in this
Yeah.
nice hardbound book. So I was like, I've got the books. I don't need the action figures anymore. The
That's
books are a
awesome.
little bit better, but yeah. So I actually been meaning to call them to see if they have any money for me because I need some money. I'm about to go on a road trip. So I mean,
Oh,
the
yeah.
show is called The Most Epic Adventures. Me and my mom and a Twitter friend that I barely even know. I've
Uh,
only met in person a couple of times. Yeah, we're going to Kansas City and back. So
hell
uh, thankfully, I'm taking my mom with me, so it's not just me and a stranger danger.
yeah.
So
That's pretty cool. I'm glad you're. Hey, if you ever get to Milwaukee, hit me up.
yeah, I mean, I don't. I want to go. I want to do the entire Route 66. So that starts in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
That'd be cool.
so I'd for sure want to check out Milwaukee. 'Cause me and my friends went there on a day trip from Chicago, basically, and
Okay.
we didn't really do much. Do
Not
they
much to
even
do.
does Milwaukee even have a soccer team right now? I know they don't have an MLS team, and I know
No,
Madison has a USL, I think, League One team, maybe.
I don't think so. I think there's like an arena soccer league, but we got the Bucks and the Brewers, so
Which I'm a Celtics fan. We just eliminated the Bucks yesterday.
yeah.
Sorry,
It was a
man.
great series. It was a great series. You really got some geographically diverse sports fandom.
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I mean,
Rockets, all
this
right.
is your interview, but we're bringing it up. So I am from Houston. I love Houston. Every sports team from Houston is my number one team. Okay, regardless. Um, but I, you know, in the '80s, you had the Lakers and the Celtics. So
Mm-hmm.
I picked the Celtics. Just because
Nice.
actually went to a guy's house when I was a kid. Me and my mom, it was one of her work friends, like boyfriend, and he was watching the Lakers versus Celtics, and he asked me which one did I like. I'm like, that team. I don't know. I was just like, I like the green team. I don't know. I think they were ahead or something. I think they were playing in
Sure. Yeah.
Boston, so whatever. So I was like, I'll pick the green team. He's like, all right, and he went to his closet and gave me a Boston Celtics hat.
Huh.
So
That's
I was like,
cool.
well, there we go. I'm a Celtics fan now.
Nice. Nice.
so
Nice.
so I was so I've always been since I was a little kid, but the Rockets won championships in '94 and '95. That was a huge deal here. That was the first professional major sports championship in the city. So
Hmm.
so that was huge. So I love the Rockets. They've been tanking on purpose, I think, right now. Just
Sometimes
trying
it's
to.
easy to forget they exist, honestly.
What's that?
It's easy to forget the Rockets exist, I feel like lately. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I went to 2 games this year. I bought 1 ticket for $14 to a game, and then they're like, "Oh, you came to a game, so here's some 4 free tickets to come to another game."
hey,
and then and
that's
then
good.
so I took my mom with me. So it was me and my mom. I don't live with my mom. I just want to make it clear. I have my own home. But um
Cool.
the, the I had 2 more tickets. So I had 4 tickets and I had 2 more tickets and nobody wanted to go with me.
Oh, that's too
Nobody
bad.
wanted to go. And they were good seats too. They were good seats.
It'd be a game, no matter
Because
who's
like
playing.
I bought 1 ticket for $14 for 1 game and I was at the top of the arena. And then they gave me 4 tickets like in the lower bowl, like for free, and I couldn't even give them away. That's how bad the
Yeah,
Rockets were. That's how bad
yeah.
they were. So I don't know, man. I still had fun. I still enjoy going, especially
Yeah,
if the tickets are free or cheap. So,
for
but
sure. Yeah.
the Celtics, the Rockets didn't make the playoffs. So for me, I'm paying attention to the Celtics. They're making a run. Uh, they're playing Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals. So that'll be a great series. Again, I'm sorry for
Yeah.
your Bucks. They won it last
Yeah.
year.
They won last
I
year.
was stoked for them last year. But I think Boston's been building this team for a couple of years now, so I think it's time for them to do something. I just hope in the
Yeah.
West it's Dallas and Phoenix. Fuck both of those teams. No, it's not Phoenix. It's Golden State. It's Dallas.
Golden
Yeah,
State.
Dallas knocked out Phoenix. I don't have anything
Yeah.
against Phoenix Suns, but the Golden State Warriors can suck it, and every Dallas team can suck it. So
I hear that.
yeah. So yeah. Again, I'm from Houston, so any Dallas team, and I'm also a Calgary Flames fan. The first,
Wow.
we don't have an NHL team. We don't have hockey here. We don't even have a minor league team here anymore. That's a long story, but the first time I saw ice hockey was the '88 Calgary Olympics, and then the Flames won the Stanley Cup the next season. So I was like, you know what, I associate ice hockey with Calgary, so I'm a Calgary Flames fan, and they knocked out the Dallas Stars yesterday. The Dallas Stars goalkeeper, I don't know if you watched that game, but Oettinger made 60 saves. He was, and the Flames had to take it to extra time to win that game, into overtime. But
the hockey overtime is one of the most the hockey playoff overtime is the most stressful sports experience, I think.
Game 7 too.
It's you can't.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
But so now the Flames are playing the Edmonton Oilers, the Battle of Alberta, in the second round. So that game's gonna be, people are gonna die. That series, it's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for it, and so that's my hockey team, because I'm never gonna root for the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars are trying to do this one team, one state thing, trying to promote that the Dallas Stars is the team for all of Texas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's not. No, it's not. No one in Houston is going to cheer for the Dallas Stars. So one team, one state, one team, whatever bullshit. That's their Twitter thing. Like, if you put hashtag one state, one team, you'll get the Dallas Stars logo with the D with the state of Texas. Like,
wow.
No.
Pretty bad.
But yeah, the Bears, my dad had season tickets to the Oilers, and then the Bears, the 85 Bears are the best team of all time, in my opinion. They were definitely the most charismatic team. And so I've been a Bears fan ever since. When the Oilers left, I didn't have a team. There was no team in Houston. So for a few years, until they brought the Texans, and the Texans haven't given me anything to cheer about. So
yeah.
I actually want to come up. To the Texans are coming up to Soldier Field to play the Bears in September.
Oh, nice.
I would really love to go to that. I think that might be the same. That might be the same weekend as Full Terror Assault open air, though, so I might not be able to do that. I already paid for tickets for that, but I don't know. That's what I would love to do, but can I do it? I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
but
that'd be fun. Soldier Field's a great experience. I've been a couple times.
Okay. I tried to take a tour last time I was in Chicago, and I was by myself, and they said you had to have at least 10 people to take the tour, so I didn't do it. But
really?
it's only $10 a person for the tour, so I should have just paid for 10 people and just showed up by myself.
There you go. Pretty smart.
I didn't think about that until later. So I've never been inside. I've never been inside Soldier Field, and they're building they're going to build a new stadium for the Bears. So yeah, the Bears are going to be moving to the suburbs.
I guess that makes sense. Or the place to develop downtown.
I don't know. I think it's a bad idea, but Chicago Fire play in Soldier Field too. I don't know why that stadium's way too big for them. They left their stadium. They left their stadium in the suburbs to move back into Soldier Field.
Well, was cool. Like, who wouldn't want to play there? That's historic. Sorry,
It's historic, but do you want to play your games in front of it looks like a mostly empty stadium just because the stadium's too big? You know, it just doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. But cool. I want to play a quick game real quick. I like to do this towards the end.
Love it.
How old were you? So you said you were 35. My math, I'm pretty hungry, so my math is a little off. How old were you in 1991, David?
4.
You were 4 in 1991. Yeah. So you probably weren't headbanging too hard.
No, I wasn't. I was probably Sesame Streets and stuff like that.
I've got the rock cards. Here, let's do it like this. Here, I'll make it bigger, so you can see it a little bit better. The rock cards, Series 1 in the holographic packaging, so you know it's not. So you know it's not fake. So these came out in 1991. 1991, there was a huge shift in music. That's kind of when Nirvana came through and destroyed hair metal. But there was still some hair metal around. Every package comes with a sticker, and every sticker has been the same. There's a lot of green. I have a green screen, so it might not come through very well, but it's the Iron Maiden tail gunner sticker.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So I've got like 30 of these, and a contest card where you can win a pair of tickets and round trip airfare anywhere in the world to a concert, anywhere in the world you want to. But you had to mail this in by February 1st, 1992.
Okay.
So, and the address, I actually looked up the address on another live stream I did, and it's actually a golf training facility now. So I might just mail them a bunch of these cards and see what happens.
You should do that.
All right, let's see how many of these people you know. All right, and some of these that are green, it's going to look a little fucked up, but
all right.
Let's see.
Alice Cooper?
No, this is a guitar player. Can you see his name?
Oh, I can barely see it.
All right, let's turn the other side.
Richie Sambora?
Yeah, from Bon Jovi.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know the members of Bon Jovi other than Bon Jovi. I like those shades.
It's a little bit easier to show the back of the cards because you got the hologram. So you got the hologram, so you know it's not phony. It's not a reproduction.
Yeah, I couldn't see the name, so I was just like, I thought I had to guess who it was. I was like, Alice Cooper. Yeah, that's these cards. I never heard of these. Like, I was a big card collector. I collected like Marvel masterpieces and stuff like that when I was a kid. Around this time, maybe 4 or 5 years later. But never heard of rock cards. That's pretty fun.
There you go. This is a band. Yeah, that's all green. But this is Brian Baker from Junkyard.
Junkyard.
Yeah, he's a guitar player. Yeah. It was a band I hadn't heard of either, but a buddy of mine actually told me a little bit about them. So they actually screwed up their record label. And here we go. Speaking of kind of tools in the metal industry, but I still love this. I still love his band. I can't help it. He's a fucking tool though.
Dave Mustaine. Very nice. Yeah. Of course, everyone knows Dave Mustaine.
Everybody knows Dave Mustaine.
Yeah.
Just the back of the card.
Look at the camera. Love that picture. Dave Mustaine.
Yeah, some of these are really cool. And actually, I'm wearing. It's appropriate. I'm wearing the shirt today, man. It's a whole band picture. It's a promo pic.
Ooh, sick. I wouldn't have thought Exodus would have been included in rock because they seem a little bit underground for that time, maybe. But that's awesome.
They were on a major label.
I guess, yeah. It's funny when I think about, Bay Area metal, like Exodus is always like the forgotten one, like even more forgotten than Anthrax or it seems like they just didn't really get the attention they probably deserved.
I agree with that. I agree with that. All right. Cinderella
I can see. I can't see the bottom.
It's Jeff. Here Here, I'll show the back. It's Jeff LeBar. He's a guitar player from Cinderella.
Nice, man. These pictures are great.
Yeah,
I
look
like
at
how
the
they're
makeup
just
he's got.
He looks good. He looks good. It's a good look. That hair, man.
Oh,
I wish I had that hair.
yeah,
I'm jealous.
yeah. Well, yeah. Here's another guy with some great hair. This is here's a drummer.
From Whitesnake. Okay. All right.
Tommy Aldridge from Whitesnake.
I can picture the video right now. Yeah, I saw it on reruns, obviously. But wow, what a hunk, man! I love that. I love that hair. You gotta bring that hair back. Like, whatever metal bands are doing right now, keep doing what you're doing, but just like change the hair. Bring back this like mane, because it looks great. Look great.
We got a bass player from Slaughter here. Dana Strum.
His last name is Strum, and he plays bass.
That's correct.
Dana
Strum plays bass.
It's like having a drummer named, I don't know, something.
Bash or hit or
Strum. He doesn't strum. He picks.
We got another full band pick. Oh,
Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Very cool.
They won't say quit. They keep having farewell tours.
People keep giving them money, man. It's funny to think about, like, yeah.
I went to their farewell tour like in 2016 or whatever that was. I have a friend she's a big hair metal fan, so it's like, yeah, I'll go. I was like, yeah, I think there was a Groupon for it.
Nice. I go. I mean, like, Milwaukee has Summerfest every year, and usually they bring in, like, hair metal bands. Sometimes they're fun to see. I mean, like, it makes me wonder, like, what bands are going to be, like, doing farewell tours that are playing now. Like, in 30 years is, like, I don't know, like, some, like, whatever the big metal bands are right now, are they going to be is Undeath going to be doing a farewell tour in 30 years? Are we going to be able to see Blood Incantation at, like, the Waukesha County Fair? Like, is that what it's going to be like? I don't know.
Speaking of great albums this year, I mean, I fucking love their album they put out this year. It's not a death metal album, but it's
Blood Incantation? Their ambient album. That's fun. Yeah, I respect their creativity. Like we talked before about, like, being, growing creatively and, not really caring what other people have to say about your music and just doing it for you. And I have to respect the hell out of them for doing that. I'm sure they just got signed to a big label. I'm sure there's a ton of pressure to be like, hey, do the Blood Incantation thing, dance monkey, but they're like, fuck you. This is part of our vision. This is as death metal to us as, death metal. So this is what we're doing. And they got, credit to the label. They got on board. Not my thing. I'm not like an ambient synth fan. But hell, it's
it reminded me of like a horror movie soundtrack. So
yeah, a little bit like that, but like less structure. It was really like totally different. I love the idea that it's like, when I listen to it, I had this suspicion that it's part of a future plan for them to have two records that sync up when you play them together. That's my theory about Blood Incantation. Well,
like the Flaming Lip put out, it was like 4. Yes. You had to play 4 of them at the same time, and that was back when it was just CDs. And I remember this was like in the late '90s. I remember as a promo, they got 4 vans with speakers, and they like backed them like against each other, and they all hit play at the same time. And I still think they fucked it up. But like that was the only way you could hear it. Is like, I don't know if they ever put it all together. I don't remember.
But it'd be fun to think of 30 years from now. What bands are going to be doing farewell tours.
Well, 30 years from now, do you think Dan Reed will be playing the Waukesha County Fairground?
Wow,
he's got a real Mr. Clean look with the earring.
Yeah, what band is he from?
The Dan Reed Network. This is Dan Reed from the Dan Reed Network.
This guy's got his own network, looking like a genie over there with his earring and his bald head.
And look at his picture right there.
Yeah.
And then look at the picture on the back. It's the same freaking face.
He looks like a magician.
Just made that. He does.
He looks like he's about to, like, pull a card out.
vocal / songwriter. Like, come on.
Just like me. Vocal / songwriter.
It's called the Dan Reed Network. I mean,
two bald guys doing their musical thing. Me and Dan Reed. Maybe I'll write him. See what he's doing now. We'll collaborate. I'll join his network.
I don't think they can make a trading card with people smoking anymore. But this is Bobby Dahl from Poison.
Oh yeah, Poison was definitely one of my least favorite hair metal bands. Like I was like a big hair metal fan.
Here's him not smoking.
Very,
bass
like the
guitar
headband
/ keyboards. Yeah.
Yeah, that never got into them. I guess I don't really see the appeal, but a lot of people did. I was more like a Queensryche. That'd probably been my favorite hair metal band.
Well, this guy's not in the band anymore, but Greg Christian, former bass player from Testament.
Okay. Nice.
Steve DiGiorio, I think is his name, is the current bass player.
I do not recognize. It's funny, like I listen to a ton of bands. I like very rarely pay attention to like who's in the band. Like I don't know people's names. I probably should. It'd be
Well,
nice
do you know Dave Sabo from Skid Row?
I don't. I love these cards. Like, are they so? Is it all just? It's all rock, obviously. And
rock cards.
What's the most extreme band in the rock hard cards collection? Like all the bands, like Exodus was maybe the most extreme I've seen so far. Like other bands that are around in 1991. Like I'm trying to think of other extreme. There'd probably be no. Like was Deicide around at that point?
Yeah. Deicide was around. They're not in here. I guess Megadeth might have been the most extreme. Like Megadeth, Testament, Exodus, Anthrax.
Okay.
I have not seen one Metallica card.
That's interesting.
The last card in this pack is the drummer for Skid Row.
Okay, you got 2 Skid Rows. You can really build out your Skid Row collection.
Yeah,
but you don't
Actually, I think we got more than. We only had 2 Skid Rows. I thought we might have had more than.
Oh,
Skid Row. Yeah, maybe not. We had Motley Crue. I mean, all those type of bands were definitely big in this.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty fun. I guess like I said, I collected tons of cards. Like still have all my like Marvel masterpieces. And I used to collect like baseball cards and hockey cards and shit like that, but never the rock cards.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool. I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to see some of these cards I pull out and I break these at the end of these shows.
And on the back there was text, right? There's like a description. Was it just like their bio?
Yeah, like here. Let me pull out Robb Zipp. Here's the back. I'll read the back. Yeah. It says specialty drums, birthday March 1st, hometown Wallkill, New York. Influences Neil Peart, Phil Collins, Phil Rudd, Carl Palmer, and John Bonham. I mean, if you're a drummer in 1991, that's got to be your list, regardless.
You got it. Those are just check. Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty.
Even now, I think a lot of people would say Neil Peart.
But it says copyright 1991 Skid Row, officially licensed through Great Southern Company. Rock cars manufactured by Brockham, distributed by MLE Co. I mean, yeah, I gotta say, I mean, these are all, Richie Sambora was copyright Captain Kid Clothes Incorporated. Let me see. The Dave Mustaine is copyright 1991 Megadeth. The Exodus, that's their promo pick. So this is copyright 1991 Exodus. They got the copyrights to use these promo pics from these bands somehow or another. They weren't taking these photos. They just got these promo photos. Yeah. It was probably some guy that had stacks and stacks of promo photos, because PR companies, we get emails now. I get a ton of emails, but back in the day, they would send press kits, actual press kits. Now they're called electronic press kits, but back in 1991, if you were a publicist in a magazine or whatever, you would get glossy 8x10s. You know? And this guy probably had a collection of them and like, let's sell these.
Yeah. I'm really interested to like see the perspective of someone like yourself that gets band promos. Like, you know, like as an independent artist, it's hard for me to picture what life is like for someone who's getting 1,000 emails from a bunch of shitty ass bands every single day, like, and having to weed through all that. Like, and no disrespect to bands that are putting themselves out creative. I'll always support creativity no matter what form it's in. But like, as a person who's got to listen to it, like some of it has got to be god awful, poorly produced, just not like. How do you go through all and find the stuff that's any good? And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems overwhelming because there's no limit to how many emails they can send. Like, any dickhead like me can pay Lawhammer to send their shit to everyone on their email list.
Correct.
Like, it's not hard.
And I'm on a few. I honestly don't remember getting many emails from Clawhammer. I don't know if I'm on their email list. I mean, or if I do, maybe like I have Gmail. So like if you delete so many messages from a certain sender without looking at them, they'll automatically start sending them to your junk folder. So I shouldn't say that. That's terrible. But like, I get a lot of emails from a lot of bands, from a lot of PR companies, and if it honestly, it's not something that really catches my attention, it'll get deleted. So and it's nothing personal against anybody. It's just I get a lot of emails. So I have different emails, and I should have the promo go to a certain email address. But honestly, I have everything thrown into the same email address. Like, you know, my hotel stays that are coming up, my tickets that I get, you know, the concerts I go, everything goes to the same email address. And I
understand that.
I want to stay on top of it. So if it's something doesn't instantly interest me, I just want to toss it. You know, and it's not anything against any of the bands, you know, and I feel like an asshole, like breaking this news to people.
No, and like as an independent artist, like I just know that's how it goes. Like, you know, and the sooner that, you know, if you're an independent artist out there and you're expecting people to like give you the time of day, like don't expect it. Like that's when I went into this project, I didn't expect anyone to give me the time of day. The fact that they had was purely luck. I mean, I can't credit to anything else because no one heard of Pillaging Villagers before March 2022.
I think somebody put out a list of some of the albums that they liked this year, or some of the bands, and I saw that list, and I was like, I think it was you and Hell Ripper, and there was somebody else that also follows my Twitter, and I was like, man, I've had these other bands on my show. I haven't had, you know, Pillaging Villagers on my show yet, so we gotta make this happen. You know, you were already following me, and I knew you weren't a right-wing tool. Sometimes you never know.
Yeah, I mean, it's but I'm really thrilled to have been asked on. It's, you know, it's still surreal for me to do these, like, you know, interviews with people and, you know, connect with folks like yourself. It's a real honor. So I appreciate you having me on.
I'm sorry there weren't more people. You know, sometimes I'll get a whole lot of interaction with people. Today we just had Julian just said hi.
Hi, Julian.
I don't even know if he's still watching, but you know, that's it. That's it. So, but this will always live on my channel. So
awesome.
You know, people can always watch it at any time. And
I'll share
the bronze fawns right here will always live forever too. I need to come up there just to get a picture with this guy.
Yeah, that's a lot of people do that. That's a tourist destination for sure.
And there's some a wrestler statue somewhere around there too.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think I remember, because I remember seeing some pictures with like when people were taking the toilet paper thing for crazy, like people were putting a bunch of toilet paper on them, like he was stocking up all the toilet paper.
Maybe I'm not familiar with that, but yeah,
it might not be in Milwaukee. It might be somewhere else in Wisconsin. But Either way.
Yeah.
All right, David. Well, I appreciate your time, and keep kicking ass, and we'll stay in touch. If I ever come up to that way, if I make it up to Chicago for a Bears game or to hop on Route 66, I'll take that little day trip up to Milwaukee. I have some friends in Sheboygan too.
Oh hell yeah!
So Toxic
Cool.
Ruin,
Yeah.
they're I don't know if you've heard of Toxic Ruin. They're an awesome thrash band.
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Pretty cool.
They're cool dudes. So, all right,
Nice,
man. Well, I'll let you go. Stick around. I'm gonna say some things to my audience, and then just stick around.
Oh, we'll do. Thanks again.
All right, everybody. That was David, the one-man band known as Pillaging Villagers. You really got to check out the album on Spotify or Apple Music or Deezer or wherever you listen to your music. He's got the tracks on his YouTube as well. I didn't show the YouTube just because it's just the tracks with the album cover. So, yeah, really cool stuff. Yeah, it would be cool to press it into an album one day. So maybe that'll happen for him. What do I have coming up on the channel? Next Monday, I'm supposed to have Void Vader. I've had them on the show before. I've had the bass player on the show before, but I'm supposed to have the whole band next time. So next Monday, the 23rd, Void Vader will be on the show. Tomorrow, I'm going to premiere a video. Today, I went to Greenspoint Mall with my mom and her friends. That was crazy. You got to see what happened there. I'm going to premiere that tomorrow at 5 p.m. So we'll do a live chat to go along with that. On Wednesday, the Dynamo are playing Seattle. I will not be going to that because I'm going to go see Danzig, motherfucking Danzig, and Cradle of Filth are also opening up. It's always interesting to see them. Let me see. On Thursday, me and my mom are going to see the Astros play the Texas Rangers. It's Star Wars Day at Minute Maid Park. So we'll bring you that on Thursday. On Friday, I'm going to go see Origin and Misery Index at Acadia Bar and Grill on 1960 here in North Houston. What else do I have? I got a lot of stuff coming up. Let me look at my calendar. What am I doing Saturday? Saturday, I'm going to go see, I talked about Ripple Music. I'm going to go see Foster Mother and High Desert Queen. They are playing at the Last Concert Cafe in Houston. It's a legendary place, and I've actually never been there. So Ryan from High Desert Queen, I'm going to interview them while we're there. So I might get another interview with Foster Mother as well. I might make a combo interview there. There's also the Houston Art Bike Parade going on Saturday. I might attend that. I might not. We'll see how I'm feeling. And Sunday, the 22nd, is the Brash Punk and Metal Garage Sale. I will be selling. I mentioned the Metalhead box. I'm going to be selling a lot of that stuff next Sunday. So come and buy my stuff. I'm gonna raffle off something too. So send me $5 to my PayPal or my Cash App or my Venmo, and you'll be included in the raffle. It'll be a surprise what it is. I'll tell it. I'll probably put it on Twitter. When I figure out what I'm going to put, I'll put it on Twitter. So give me a follow at Most Epic Show. Next Monday is Void Vader. And then next Tuesday, I'm driving to Kansas City with my mom and my friend Aaron. Next Wednesday, Houston Dynamo match at Kansas City. Thursday, Friday, we're driving back, and we're going to have some adventures on the way back. So I'm jam-packed for the next couple of weeks. So thanks so much for checking this out. Until next time, remember to drink water, listen to metal, enjoy nature, and have the most epic adventures.